I have very scant information about Honorable Nsibambi's meeting. I am reading much of it from the media. We have not had occasion to share. What I can say is that I find it consensus among us all right-thinking members of society that there should be dialogue. We are just coming from an aftermath of an election, which ought to have been the other alternative in which we would have removed the president. The results are known, and it looks like in terms of the country, we are trapped in what they call a skyland Kalibutis, which is part of the Greek mythology. You see, they had...
I have to go to Google.
No,
Mr. Google.
Maybe he's jaundiced.
So, in terms of a sea that has got, for example, a whirlpool of water, which is moving at a very fast rate, capable of sinking ships. And on the other side, there is an immortal, man-eating animal. So you must choose. You either die by the animal or die by the sea. So that is where we are trapped. So clearly, I think the...
I love that analogy.
Yes.
Who in this case is the man-eating animal?
One side, there is a man-eating animal.
Called?
Which is the skyla. Now the Kalibudis is the whirlpool, which also can sink you if you are a ship. They are all located in the same sea. So we are trapped amidst. Some other people, of course, call it the two major fronts. The first front was that of a choice by the people to go multi-party. Then there was a choice by the international community to pressurize African countries under the Africa Action Plan to go multi-party. So clearly, what Honorable Nsibambi now needs to do is to do the needful. If you must entertain a proposal that is, first of all, incongruous to the population, it is not clear. This is not something that is known to many. In Uganda, it can result, in Kenya, when they were debating broad-based, others called it bread-based, because they never understood it. So it can be misunderstood if you do not choreograph it in such a way.
So how much explanation does he have to do? Or has he fallen in the same trap that you suffered?
No.
When you had a cooperation agreement with President?
He needs to begin to restart the dialogue, now beginning with his own political parties. You begin with dialogue at home before you definitely now export it elsewhere. Otherwise, you will now be pulled back and forth in such a way that, first of all, it will become...
Do you look at Nsibambi for now as someone who was the leader of a new dawn of politics that could define post-elections and this term for President Museveni?
Of course, the characters have to be equally studied. You need to study President Museveni if you want to go as a person before him. He's, first of all, a very patient character. I think one of the major tools that he uses is patience. When President Museveni sees a snake, he cannot kill it. He will appoint a committee on snakes. So for him, that is how he operates. Now, if you are to confront President Museveni, I think you must be, for all intents and purposes, first of all, qualitative, ideological, and structure must ensue. If you go as an individual, obviously he will answer all your questions in the positive. He will free prisoners without telling you why they were imprisoned. Now, if the process of imprisonment was irregular, and the process of freedom is equally irregular, then we are now following a pendulum movement in history, swinging from absolutism to democracy, from democracy back to absolute dictatorship. That means we shall now be booking new entrants into prison, and obviously then having them freed, like what Comrade Musi has said. So what we need to do, first of all, let us study the character of the president himself. Then study our own characters. Sit, dialogue, and take a framework that is capable of being discussed. That narrative he's leading, I agree. Dialogue as a must should take place in Uganda. As to whether he must sing Swan song on his own lips, now that is something that he will make a choice for.
Do you feel relieved as DP that finally someone else is joining what you started?
Yes, yes, indeed. Indeed we feel. Because we think, you have seen the election and how it has and clearly because you see elections in countries where people are dissatisfied and disgruntled at a mechanism in which they have been held, it acts as what we call a casus belli. It usually acts as a cause for war. In Uganda, it isn't. But there is dissatisfaction in terms of how it has been held. Uganda is not running an autocracy. It is not running a dictatorship. And we have been telling people, but they don't choose to understand. That is why we have been waiting for the international community to act, and they will never act. They know we are not running a dictatorship in Uganda. What is being run is something technically choreographed to first of all look like a democracy, while at the same time it maintains properties of an autocracy. It is called the dictablanda. And I have been telling people where dicta comes from dictatorship and blanda is soft. So you are allowed to hold periodic elections. But the quality of the elections itself is almost a selection. And it keeps government moving. They allow you freedoms. They are not stifled, but they are restrained a bit. You are allowed to have airwaves, but not beyond Kampala during elections. And I can tell you, this passes for a democracy outside Uganda, and it doesn't here.
Thank you.
So
Honorable
you need
Sibambi.
dialogue. Mr. Simon, as I conclude, we need dialogue. As we begin with our own dialogue on the opposition, while President Museveni also administers dialogue with his soul, then with his political establishment, so that the meeting of minds then can deliver Uganda to a
Honorable
better future.
Sibambi, another issue that has stirred the waters is your mentioning of NUP members who you went with, yet you're not willing to disclose who they are. Aren't you blackmailing the party?
Yeah, first of all, viewers, I just want to do one small clarification emanating from what my two learned friends said about our meeting the president. In the first place, I'll start with Honorable Mbide here. DP has been involved in talks with the government without actual involvement of other parties in the opposition, and it was okay. Honorable Mbide here is was a member of parliament of Yala, East African Legislative Assembly. Just a day before the elections, we had a position as opposition to seek for more seats. But he came out on a DP recommendation and ticket without the actual involvement and consensus of other people, which was in order because there was some bit of impasse. And he did a very good job at the East African community because there was that bit of talking and debate and a conversation with the sitting government. It is not an acknowledgement of defeat or conceding defeat, but studying what they call political reality on the ground for the country to move on. Because there would have been sort of an impasse within the assembly, which is East Africa, and that was in order. So if another member who is a politician and a citizen comes up with an idea to meet the president, not involving other parties, then it becomes a problem. Because there's this general feeling in Uganda that political formations and ideas must come from a set of individuals, 5, to manage the affairs of the country, even as opposition. Many opposition members are not happy with this kind of move. They're saying it didn't involve the parties, it didn't involve us, because there's this belief that it is in Sibambi, it is in Yala, to come up with ideas.
So they are jealous?
Not jealousy. It is a misnomer. They believe they own this country. They must come up with the standards. They must come up with the terms, and the rest must follow. That's not the case. Any citizen under the Constitution has a duty and a responsibility to manage or to get involved in the management of the affairs of the country.
Why are you blackmailing NUP?
Now,
Claiming that you took some members?
the people we talked to in NUP and those who responded, I talked to a member of parliament from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. at a mall, and there are CCTVs, if they want to find out. I will not mention them all. You go to medical protocol at Mulago. The people are supposed to see the president at midday, and you find a list of NUP members, 5 actually.
5?
But 3 are elected members of parliament. It is clear. The Honorable Minister, Balam, came for protocol, medical protocol also, and some members fled, and senior members. So what we are talking about really is not even an issue of NUP coming or not.
I think it is.
Because this country does not belong to political parties. No.
Yeah, but
they
look
are just formations
Honorable
and
Nsirambi,
institutions.
look at the absurdity of you recruiting
political party issues.
So
we
are
are
you-
handling issues of Uganda.
So you're doing political brokerage for President Museveni.
And what's wrong with that? It's not wrong. You can also do it as long as you are ensuring that you have peace and tranquility and harmony.
Why people may misunderstand you.
Which people? You say you. That's the reason why I'm misunderstanding.
Why some people may misunderstand.
Okay, are you misunderstanding him?
No, not at all. But I have heard. Clearly, we are here simply because this is a public affair now. It is no longer the kind of affair that you ran at Mulago up to State House. It has become public, and you have explained. And I can tell you that you have safely tried to explain. But equally, Ugandans are sluggish in comprehending. The more you explain, the more some of them become, obviously. Because this is just like a hospital. Some people don't respond to treatment. I think Dr. Mariomusi knows. You see, because this is an aftermath of an election where you equally run for parliament. In Uganda, only 2 entities can send somebody to parliament. The first one is the electorate, which you have done away with. The second one is the president. Now, you can easily be misunderstood. And for me, I love it each time you locate your meetings before the election itself.
Exactly, that's what I was reading.
And for me, that one exonerates you.
Yes.
Otherwise, others would have wanted to begin to think that, first of all, it is an automatism after losing an election that sent you in order to anger. I think the psychologists call it the frustration aggression hypothesis, where they feel, even doctors, where they call it a catharsis, I think, of some sort. That for you to ease the temperatures and annoy a few other people, you do things that are actually contradictory to what they should have wished you to do. Honorable Nsibambi, this country has not grown to a level beyond which you can explain issues as you are explaining them. That is why you can have members of parliament heading for a dialogue on behalf of the country, but do not want anybody to know they are going to dialogue. Now you find, so for me it doesn't make
Honorable
sense.
Nsirambi, it was actually your turn as you were winding up. Are you at liberty to disclose these MPs?
I'm not at liberty to disclose the MPs.
Why?
Except
if the intention was clear.
Except one member I can disclose, because he gave me the permission. Honorable Kayondo of Mukono, he refused to go after talking to him. He said, no, I cannot be part of your delegation. Last minute, I'd submitted the name because I cannot dialogue with you. I have to get the actual consent of my party. And I said that was in order.
No, but if the intentions are well-meaning, why
actually-
wouldn't you disclose them?
Why should I disclose? I'm accounting to who? To see the president?
To the country.
Is it a crime? It's not.
No, Honorable Nsibambi, your intention was for the country,
Yes.
wasn't it?
I came out.
So you're making it a secret deal.
No, I came out myself. We have about 12 pictures. I've given you references if you want to verify as an investigative journalist. For me, I see actually no reason to explain meeting the president. I can only explain why the dialogue is really not coming up with a broad range of stakeholders. And I'm saying that was the beginning. We are going to approach all the willing Ugandans and stakeholders from the academia, media, activists, to have now a national dialogue, to look at the national question. There I can account, because there will be a formal body entrusted or proposing the broad range of
you're
issues.
making it shady. When you say we were a delegation of 17,
Yes.
10
Actually, I was
accepted,
supposed to be 30.
10
but
accepted
others
to
didn't
stand
go-
with the president
Others didn't go
for the
through-
photo moment. Others do not want to be disclosed.
And what is it?
That makes it a bad deal.
No, taking a picture or disclosing involvement in an activity is personal at that level. The gist of the matter, what is to be discussed and proposed, I think that's the issue. Those are the issues. How can you talk on behalf of Ugandans? Issues to do with rural reform, issues to do with the opening space and militarization, when you have a state. Those are really the issues where I have to account.
Honorable Msisi, now it's clear. Some of your colleagues from the National Interplatform
5.
went and met the president. Doesn't this worry the party that actually Nsimambi could be on a mission to recruit and to decimate your political party?
Well, first of all, until it's proven otherwise, it remains an allegation. However, even if there are 10 people, for me, the question of where they came from is secondary. The primary issue, because of course, even in the 11th Parliament, we've had NUP members like Honorable Kagabo who crossed to NRM. So for me, it's secondary. The question still would remain, even if it's whoever person, irrespective of the party, even if they came from UPC, even if they came from NUP.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Just something. I've got talked to 2 members who accompanied us. Now I can say accompanying us, saying if they got a letter from NUP saying that the moment they disclose their names, they will not be dismissed before swearing in. So taken like they believe that since they were sponsored by the party and they are elected members,
So they are living in fear.
they are living in fear.
Does that mean NUP fears dialogue?
If I get that letter, that's what their belief. And I told them, no, you have no powers.
Maybe they're intellectually jaundiced, to use the words of Dr. Mario Musi. But Simon, the bigger issue for me is the motives. In fact, even the reason that a person at the level of a member of parliament who believes that is doing the right thing, even fears either appear in a picture or to be disclosed, that should show you the nature of business that was conducted. Because if you believe you're doing the right thing and you are at the level of a member of parliament, then why do you
Because they
fear
fear the whip from their political party.
Possibly because they know that
It gives a
the
picture that
antecedents of
NUP
the meeting
is
were shady.
anti-dialogue.
Well, NUP is not anti-dialogue, and I want to dispute what Dr. Williams said, that, NUP has radicalized, and NUP is represented in Parliament. Parliament is a forum for dialogue. We've never fought.
Yeah, you dismissed in Mpuga and
that is secondary. That's a different debate, Honorable Sivambi.
And
And I think you are being intellectually dishonest if you take us there. Secondly, NUP is the vice chair of the National Consultative Forum. It's a forum for dialogue, for political parties. We've attended all meetings of
Yeah,
the
but in
NCF.
2021, NUP wrote dissing iPod. They called it.
It's your option to cherry pick which dialogue we are.
No. This is critical.
The intention is the bigger picture is, Simon, is let us look at the antecedents of every time President Museveni is coming out of an election. In 2011, we had people saying the same things Honorable Swambi is saying. We need the national healing, we need dialogue, we need reconciliation. Those people ended up, to use the English phrase, in the belly of the beast. They were predated upon. In 2016, we had the same people. The NUP was not there. You remember people saying, Dr. Besigye, please come and we talk. Dr. Besigye said the same thing Nupi is saying, that if it's dialogue, let it be structured. Let it not be about me as an individual. Let it be about the country. It didn't take place. Some of the people who were pushing for it ended up in the belly of the beast.
Sibambi has kick-started the process.
In 2021, of course, the burden Honorable Sibambi is having, and when I say burden, he understands it very well, he has a burden to prove to the world that is different from all the other speeches, all the other rhetoric we've had every time we're coming out of an election. Some of the things, where I'm standing now, I have no reason to believe that is different from the groups we've had in the past. Because, for instance, he has talked about even people, political prisoners, who were even arrested after the election. And he said he met General Museveni on 3rd January before the election. And they were talking about post-election dialogue. He has talked about how shabby, not now, but I've heard him in previous interviews, the opposition was. And he was in the opposition on 3rd January when they were planning for this meeting. And he was competing with NRM candidates. So what I'm saying is, what I've heard from Honorable Sibambi is not different from what we've had in the past. So he has a burden, and the burden and the onus is upon him to show that this is different. And where we're standing now, there's nothing to show that it's beyond
where
the
things stand.
individual
If I
things.
get to Honorable Yomus, where things stand, Sibambi is secretly meeting members of the National Unity Platform with the view of taking them to the president. He doesn't deny that he's doing political brokerage. What does this mean to you?
But Simon, I'm telling you that NUP has so many members. So we don't have, NUP has no control over who I meet now, or what I discussed with Honorable Sibambi now. The question is, because like I've said, if it's principled, I should not have a problem of me coming here to say, I met Honorable Sibambi on this and this matter. The mere fact that I would meet Honorable Sibambi in secret, and we go to secret meetings, and I even fear Honorable Sibambi disclose my name, when what I'm doing is good intention, should show you that possibly I'm not in for the intention.
Would you warm up to Honorable Sibambi's invitation?
I would only warm up to Honorable Sibambi's invitation to Jalia City for a cup of coffee.
No, can I ask him before the viewers here, Honorable my son, I know the name, and he's a smart brain, definitely, as a student. Did I talk to you to give me a list of political prisoners just recently?
When we met at NBS studios here this week?
Yes.
You talked to me casually, yes.
And what did you say, really?
No, but you told me you have the list. That's what you said.
No,
you said I have a list here.
I said, do you have additional members who do you wish to talk to the president about the incarceration? And you said it is in order.
No. The issue, and I've said it here in my preamble, I've said that all political prisoners should be released.
Honorable
all of them should
we
be
are
released.
taking a very short break, but do you look at Sibambi as the new preferred opposition to reckon with, a man who is willing to mobilize others to talk to the president in the interest of the nation?
Well, I think Honorable Sibambi has a lot of explanation to make to the public, because what has taken me aback is that a member of parliament can choose to go and meet the president, but he's scared of posing for a photograph, and when he sees Honorable Baram, he runs away. It speaks a lot of volumes. It speaks a lot to the caliber, the quality. Of course, he's not the one who ran away, but the people he went with.
Yes.
It really speaks to the quality and the caliber of the leaders that we have. And really, it's a sad commentary on the opposition. Some of us, if you take a decision, you stand by it. The other day, I went to see Dr. Besigye, and I tweeted that I have been in Duruzira to see Dr. Besigye. And I was not ashamed that I'm an NRM member.
But you never met him.
I met him.
You never met him.
Were you there?
What we have on record is that he declined the meeting with you.
No, I went and met him, entered his cubicle when he was on hunger strike. I went with his sister, Dr. Olive Kobusinje, and engaged with him.
When you asked him to eat?
Yes, I asked him to eat. And eventually he ate. And I asked the prison authorities to take him to hospital, because there was a debate whether they should take him to Maxon Bay or a clinic of his choice. I prevailed over the prison authorities to take him to Bugorobi in a clinic. And they wanted him to go in a yellow dressing. I said, no, let him put on his own dressing. What are you talking about?
Let's take a very short break. When we return, I'll still be giving you more time. We'll be back.
NBS Frontline.
When the news moves, you move with it on AfroMobile. Get real-time updates and the moment they unfold. Choose from over 80 live TV and radio channels and follow current affairs your way on the platforms you rely on the road, in the office, in the middle of your work, or out and about. AfroMobile keeps the story going with you. Download AfroMobile today and stay connected to every update as it happens.
For years, they have studied, they have trained, they have persevered. Now, the moment of honor has come. Finns Medical University is proud to announce its 5th graduation ceremony. We cordially invite our graduating class of 2025, their esteemed parents and guardians, and the general public to join us in this celebration of academic excellence and professional dedication. The ceremony will be held on Friday, the 27th February 2026, at the Finns Medical University campus in Fort Portal. Proceedings commence at 9 a.m. Finns Medical University, a chartered medical university in East Africa.
Breaking now. Now Post delivers Uganda's fastest, accurate news as it happens. From hard-hitting headlines to exclusive interviews, we bring details of stories everyone is talking about. Accurate, fast, and balanced. Get every update at nowpost.co.ug. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and never miss a moment. The Now Post. Accurate news, fast.
So, Muchara.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later.
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get Momo goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165*80# or use the Momo app.
Spreads confusion and fear. Dismiss, a campaign to help you think critically, question wisely, and verify thoroughly. Join us. Let's build a more informed Uganda, one truth at a time. Dismiss, inquire, verify, confirm. Together, let's fight fake news.
NBS Frontline.
Welcome back. We continue delving into the controversy surrounding what would be ordinarily a good gesture. Politicians from across the aisle meeting, President Museveni meeting the opposition. Why is it creating all the fuss? Honorable Baryomunsi, some time back you alluded to, you insinuated that the members of the opposition who secretly go meet the president and they actually on the payroll. Is it now coming to pass?
Well, payroll is your addition, but you know, this is the hypocrisy of the opposition in Uganda and the lack of seriousness. And that's why Ugandans have refused and failed to trust them. True, there are those who go under the thickness of darkness. At least Honorable Sebambi's group is slightly better, that they went during the day and is not ashamed of having met the president. But I'm taken aback by his colleagues who went, but they don't want to be seen. We know them.
Do you?
I do. I do. Anyway, these are my colleagues in the parliament, and since they're not comfortable being mentioned.
Do you know them?
I know them.
Okay, were you privy to the meeting, or it also caught you by surprise?
No, some of these things we know, but so I knew. But really, I'm taken aback that a member of parliament can make a decision to go and meet the president, and he's shy. If I were the one, and I go to meet the president, I would go and explain myself.
You should actually be surprised that today, people meeting the fountain of honor looks shameful. There must be a problem in State House.
No, it doesn't. The burden is on those who are meeting him. It's actually prestigious to meet the president. And that's why...
Okay. Why has it been tilted the other way? That each time you
No,
meet
it's
the
because
president,
of the nature of our politics.
it is...
Like I said in the beginning, there are those who push an extremist, a radicalized, belligerent agenda, and they think it is not correct to meet the president. And me, I'm saying there is nothing wrong, even if you are the president of the main opposition party or any other opposition party, there is nothing wrong with meeting the president of
perhaps
the country.
you need to sanitize a few things so that meeting the president doesn't come off as a big sin. I mean, it turns out to be devilish when people see you standing next to the president.
And what's wrong with that? First of all, the president of the country. He has been elected for 5 years. He's going to be superintending over affairs of the country. If you have issues which you think are useful for the country, what would be wrong engaging him? And the president is receptive. He can take ideas from the opposition.
What would you do to make the president's meetings with the opposition acceptable and better?
No, the burden is on the opposition itself. The president has never refused or failed to meet anybody. If he could authorize that his government meets Kony who was killing people and maiming people in northern Uganda, how about opposition, which is just contesting for political power? So the president has no problem. The problem is with the opposition leaders who think that meeting the president is a big issue. It's not a big issue.
How much of a win is it for Museveni that he's met the people who are very acrimonious towards him?
No, even if he didn't meet them, there would be no problem. But the president, Museveni, I know, is always willing to meet and engage and debate with anybody, whether opposition or whether within his ruling party.
Okay, and Sibambi is now a champion of dialogue. Do you perceive him that way?
Well, he has taken an initiative, which to me is positive. He should not be looked at in a bad light. And the others can join him. I think he's moved by a sense of patriotism, that he would want to see how, even when we are different sides of the political divide, we can still meet and engage. And there is nothing wrong with that. But for anybody to push that agenda that meeting the president is sinful, is sacrilegious, I don't think that is good politics.
Honorable Mbide, when the president of DP, Honorable Mao, met the president, the next we saw, he became a minister. Do we need to watch with bated breath what would become of Nsibambi?
It depends on the character of dialogue or the particulars of the meetings they are holding. Ours had everything to do with proposals for constitutional amendments. And the president was appointed to lead that process as a minister for justice and constitutional affairs and under the agreement. So what will be the aftermath of the meetings that are being held by Honorable Nsibambi shall also follow the particulars of the discussions they are holding.
Would you join his crusade?
Which crusade? For me, what I feel is that the time now to begin holding joint meetings between you and ourselves is now. Because I think we seem to be having an average consensus at the IDEM that we need to talk. Really, there is a meeting of minds that the president also needs to be given a different direction of issues. That he should not wait for us to defeat him because we have failed. He should also listen to my minority opinions, and because we have them, and he needs to give them consideration.
Okay, when you look at that picture, the president met losers.
It's okay because there is a reason why they lost. If part of the reason is what should be under discussion, why not?
No,
if, for
does
example,
it suggest to you that these were disgruntled people who needed attention?
The President of the Republic of Uganda, in a process where he appoints the person that counts votes and he declares the winner and he's on the ballot paper, in my opinion, it is foolhardy to expect him to have lost. So for me, I cannot measure the character of superiority and the superiority of opinion of a person in terms of how many votes he has got.
Yeah, but ordinarily it would be a meeting of equals if it was to be anything meaningful.
Simon, there is no equality generated by the ballot box. There is no magic there. Even if you have been elected when you are a fool, you are an elected fool. There is no magic that the ballot box will give you. Because we know the character and the quality of our voters. There is a low relative political maturity of the masses. They can choose to elect from among themselves. That doesn't make that person of superior quality. So for me, that is not a measure. The measure must be the quality of discussions.
Exactly.
That is what we must look at, because that is what will create a Uganda that is good for us and for those yet unborn.
Has Nsibambi completed or ticked all your boxes on the questions surrounding the meeting?
No. For example, I don't know
He has not given us the issues they discussed.
any issues that were for discussion.
Prisoners, releasing of political prisoners.
That is one of them, but that cannot be a national strategy. I know there must be a national strategy geared towards refusal or estoppel at weaponizing the national justice system. For me, that is the matter that should be discussed.
But as far as we're concerned,
Yes.
Okay.
political prisoners, that nomenclature is for the opposition.
Yeah.
We have
Now, you can imagine that's now where
That's
dialogue
what even
should be
the president
buttressed.
said.
block
Yes.
the law.
He said he has no political prisoners.
Yes.
He
So
has
who are you
young-
bargaining for?
Young men,
Who broke the
criminals
law.
who are misguided. No, that's what he said. And he says he's concerned about those ones. But hardcore criminals and radicalists, those ones must face the courts of law. Actually, in all these discussions we had, there are members who have to face the courts of law.
I need to hear this again. There are no political prisoners.
Yeah,
Yes, there are
that's
no
what he says. He says,
Do you agree, Councillor Muse?
No, they are there.
and if you look at our,
There are people who
Do you concur that there are no political prisoners?
no, our proposal here and later talks of political prisoners. And for him, he said it must be clarified. The list of people we are handling must be a list of people who are misguided and are before the courts of law. So
Misguided
he said,
and they
he said
broke
So
the
then he doesn't have powers to pardon them.
that's
does
what
he?
he said, that I have no powers to pardon people who have not confessed and got
who haven't been
convicted or who have not gone through a pre-bargaining process.
So by that one
So
explanation,
now what we are going through now is to talk to these people. That you see, you have been here for 4 years. Maybe you are innocent. But is there a process where you can go and be pardoned under a legal process?
Honorable
Or-
Sirambi, you were a lawyer. Do you think you're taking the right course legally?
You see, we have to appreciate one thing. I don't know who talked about the Hamas-Israel discussions and debate about releasing prisoners. There are people who were taken hostage innocent as they are. They are not supposed to be under captivity. But the discussions have gone on, and you see hostages released, including bodies. So where you have a dilemma, and which you must face really and appreciate, you have an elected president who has the backing of the army, who controls virtually, in quotes, the judiciary. To the extent we discuss something I don't want to talk about, of our president. Lawyers were orphans, but he's in exile. So you have to appreciate that you have an elected government and a strong mind, which is militaristic. What do you have to do? What is the way forward? These people are now taking the issues of releasing prisoners to European Parliament. But you have a window of the somebody who is in control and in charge with 72%, whatever the result, saying, let us talk and release these people.
As a lawyer,
now you are
you acting with prudence
you are insisting
in becoming a broker of some sort?
You see, the law also has eyes, not just technical eyes. Technically, these people have failed for the past 4 years, even to get bail, which is a constitutional right. Now you have the person in charge and control of these innocent minds saying, can we talk and pardon them and also rehabilitate them with a fund? And then for you say, under the law, the burden of proof is 99%. They are not even taken to court.
Okay, who has instructed you to represent them before the
I don't need to get specific technical instructions. I'm a member of parliament. I'm an elected leader. I'm a citizen of Uganda, 60 years old, and I see people suffering on technicalities. That would be stupid. Really.
So you've ditched the law. You've now thrown the law by the wayside.
This evening, no, yesterday I think, the Lord Mayor said, I have no instructions, technically. He who has instructions, what have you done for the past 4 years to have these people released? Or even appearing in court? Then the leader of opposition gets a group of members of parliament to throw or reverse the process by saying, you know, technically, they have to go through this process. You're talking to illiterates who are voiceless, who have no funds to even hire Mr. Musisi here. But Mr. Musisi would appear, I don't want to say postulate, would appear representing people who are oppressed. And you have the oppressor, in quotes, saying, no, can we talk and have this boy? Say, no, under the law, section is this. The guy cannot even say ABC. You are reading sections of the law.
I find it awkward.
That is
a
awkward.
Lawyer, senior as you are, you're now putting the law by the wayside.
No, I'm just appreciating or accepting that the law cannot be enforced under these circumstances. We are looking at facts of each case different.
Yes.
Simon, I think Honorable Swamp is missing the point. No one is ordinarily even insisting on technicalities for release. For me, I wouldn't even mind them people being released at 9 a.m. tomorrow. The point is, and that's what Honorable Mbide was raising, that we can discuss this group and let them be released. But what happens to the bigger issue, and Honorable Swamp understands this very well because I don't doubt his capacity to comprehend legal matters.
Yeah. But like they say,
of
the end
weaponizing,
justifies the means.
for instance, the judicial system that you release 4, however, 10 are entering tomorrow.
No, that's
I think it's not about
speculative. You wait for the dialogue to stop this.
Because what Honorable Nsibambi is calling technicalities, and it's what, until his meeting last week, it's what he has been doing for 20 years. He's been doing exactly that. Now he's calling it playing to the gallery, that lawyers are playing. Actually, Honorable Nsibambi, like I said, has been at the forefront of defending people, political prisoners. So right now, with his newly found friend, he says this is the person who we need to talk to. So for me, the issue is not about the technicalities. The issue is, if the talk is not institutionalized, it's just a matter of cherry picking, and we're going to find ourselves like we did.
Maybe, Honorable
2 years
Nsibambi,
ago.
you need to be clear on this. Do you have any signed document with the president committing himself to anything? Or it was just casual talk?
You don't need to have a document. An agreement can be oral or written. We have 34 people released under this program. We have 50 people to be released in 2 weeks if these people don't intervene of NOOP.
Who are these?
NOOP.
No.
The leader of opposition
So the president
has visited prison prison, telling these people that what is going on, the process, is not illegal and dangerous.
Maybe Honorable Snow can tell us what the
And-
34 people are charged with. The 34 people are released today. What were they charged with?
The 34, the same kind of inciting violence, electoral, is it violence? Really,
So the
offenses-
president, aided by Nsibambi, is circumventing the law
No.
to release prisoners. You've refused to acknowledge that these are political prisoners.
Mr. Anjala and viewers out there, the person you're talking to really appreciates the nature of the cases surrounding these people. You also have to appreciate that in Uganda, you cannot talk about even institutions because some of them are not operational. So the judiciary, like all other institutions, are influenced by the head of state, who is the fountain of
Honorable
power.
Bide, you were...
If you don't appreciate, if you
you
fail
are
to
winding up your submission.
Yes.
Then I come to Honorable Barrios.
What I would like maybe Honorable Spambi to continue to highlight is whether they are holding talks or they are being lectured by the president. Why am I raising this? If he seems to be inclined to and is holding to grips with his own beliefs against those prisoners or some prisoners, that clearly some of them, in fact, he has compartmentalized, some of them were misguided, but others in his own judgment are criminals. My prayer would be that the president should be ready to appreciate the idea of dialogue in such a way that it is usually hampered by the following issues. Number one, that each side believes in the correctness of its own opinions and the wrongfulness of the opinions of the opposite side. And that is what causes or calls for.
For now, do you agree that Nsibambi represents the opposition?
Not really.
Well, this opposition is divided into parties
Not really.
and independents, so he knows what he's representing.
There is now Nsibambi bloc. It's the new bloc on the bloc.
He represents an idea, in
Yes.
my opinion.
Yes.
Because when you talk of opposition, that one is a hodgepodge of a lot of establishments, some of which can even raise press conferences tomorrow to disown him.
Yeah.
What I think he's vending is an idea, which idea should be picked, and which also is subject
But
to
it is
refinement.
resented. It's not picked.
No.
It is resented by the very group
Yes.
that would embrace it.
You know, Simon, there is a problem, and of course the doctor will tell us. I have often been teaching people that the problem with human beings is that when your stomach lacks the food content, when you are hungry, you are the first person to receive that information. When your stomach is empty. But when your head is empty, incidentally, you are not the first one to know. It is now the others that can tell, in accordance to your conduct, that actually the head is empty. So what do we do? Some of these things have to be pursued unconcernedly. For me, what I know, what the Honorable Nsibambi needs to do is to continue to structure his own process. Because as a vice president of a party in charge of a region, the ground must hold, and the people should be behind you. Try to do an internal dialogue, then you proceed unconcernedly.
Honorable Barrios, are you having a last laugh as the opposition tears itself apart over an initiative by Nsibambi?
Okay, let me clarify the following issues, and I will answer that one also. One, there are no political prisoners in Uganda.
Can you say that again?
Yes, I am facing the camera there. There are no political prisoners in Uganda. That terminology is just coined by the opposition just for propaganda value. Those arrested are those who have broken the law or suspected to have broken the law. Nobody walks with a political party written on his face that I am NUP, I am FDC. These younger people who are found in the streets committing crime.
If there are no political prisoners,
yes,
How come their release is negotiated politically?
I will come to that. I am not very sure, because the numbers which have been arrested, they are being processed through courts of law. Some are getting police bond, some are getting bail, some are getting remanded.
Yeah.
The president has no...
And some of them are being released upon the request of Nsibambi.
I am not very sure, because the president has no authority to release people who are on remand or who are just being charged. It could have been a coincidence that the Honorable Nsibambi met the president at the same time when there was a court process in PG and the people were released.
So he's being opportunistic.
Because it is not correct to say that the president instructs judicial officers to make decisions. Courts of law, the judicial officers make their own independent decisions. The president doesn't get a call and doesn't get a phone and call Chief Justice, the principal judge, or the judges that decide.
So you're dismissing his stance that he's the one who negotiated their release.
Well, I'm saying I'm not sure. I am not sure, but it could have been just a coincidence that they met. They could have discussed the case of those people who are in prison, but at the same time, by coincidence, something happens in PG. Well, I'm not
Can you explain the irony?
Yes.
That people who are deemed to be political prisoners, their release is negotiated by the state, or rather by the different players with the president.
The proposal to release these prisoners was not from the president or the state. We are seeking and talking to the prisoners who have acknowledged that whatever they did was wrong. How can they get out through the legal process? And the president said, I cannot interfere with a legal process of prosecution. However, as president, I can only pardon people who have been convicted, or the state, not the president, the state through the DPP can release those people through a process called pre-bargaining, where they also have to acknowledge their deeds. So basically, it's not the president calling and influencing the process. It's us who suggested and said, how can it be done? And they said, I have no problem.
Was this a negotiated release, or it wasn't?
Which one now?
The PG group.
Yeah, the PG group. We talked to the prisoners who negotiated. We negotiated on their behalf with the DPP.
You negotiated?
Which is illegal. Pre-bargaining. That's illegal. It has nothing to do with the state clandestine release.
As I get back to Honorable Bariumus, you negotiated as who?
As who? That's the point. Technically, I agree that I was not the lawyer in charge. And that's what has been raised by Inup and Lord Mayor Lukwago. But technicalities alone will not alleviate the problem. So we talked through parents. The parents talked to their kids, and the kids went before the court, the legal process.
Who is in Nsibambi now?
No, it's not Nsibambi alone. It is a group. That group, the formation of about 100 people, we all went out. Others are even high, but that's not the point. Okay. So I think what I wanted to end with, this process may appear to be legal and technical, but at the same time, it's also moral.
Okay, fine. Please go, proceed.
So that's the clarification I wanted to make, that the president does not just call judicial officers.
No, he has not even called them at all.
Yes, hold on. So I just wanted to clarify that. But he is saying they negotiated with the DPP, and which is okay. Pre-bargaining, that is provided for. Now, the issue of dialogue, the president has just been elected with 71%.
72.
Okay, close to 72%. We have got a convincing majority in parliament, as well as local governments, if you check. We're just remaining with the LC ones, and I'm sure we shall sweep the elections. So there is no crisis, and we are not under pressure on our side as government, as NRM, to say we are dying for dialogue. I think the ball is in the court of the opposition, whereas NRM is receptive, is open to engage with anybody, including the opposition. I think the onus is on the opposition. If they would want to engage the government is ready and willing to go into an engagement. But
you don't see any need for dialogue?
Well,
there's no crisis?
There's no crisis. We are not under pressure to dialogue with anybody. We have been given a term of 5 years, which we are going to start implementing. But
by giving him 70%. So what is the crisis?
The crisis. But we are open to engagement with everybody because all of us are Ugandans. And Uganda is big enough to accommodate all of us. So the opposition, if they would want to engage with the president, with the government, no problem. But I think the biggest task the opposition has in Uganda is to put their house in order, even before you think of dialogue. Just look at the confusion within the political parties.
Can they put their house in order when you're tearing them apart?
Who is tearing them apart? You. How?
You're busy doing secret meetings with Nsibambi and the group.
They're not secret, but Nsibambi is here telling you I met the president. He's not hiding like Chagulanyi. He's here. It cannot be secret. When he posed with the picture with the president, he's here explaining to the public how can that be secret.
You imagine the threat from President Museveni where he said the opposition will be no more by 2020?
Yes, now it is incumbent upon the opposition to make sure that they are there. But you look at what is happening within the parties. Which one should I start with? The opposition. NRM is not opposition.
Yeah, start with NRM.
It's not opposition. NRM is okay. Let me start with
we saw you at Kololo.
Let me start with
we saw you at Kololo.
Let me start with we are discussing opposition. You can have a day for NRM, we shall come and discuss it. Let's start with FDC. Honorable Nsibambi is a party. It's a party. It starts with vibrancy, very strong in the parliament. We're engaging with it. They start infighting. They chase away General Mugisha Muntu, saying he's a Moro. The way you are now pointing fingers at Honorable Nsibambi because he met the president. General Mugisha Muntu goes away, forms a party. That definitely weakened the FDC. Now, fast forward, they start to make accusations that the power, Patrick Amuriat and Nandara have received money from government, from the president. They can't adduce evidence. They just make that rhetoric, create a narrative. Now, instead of sitting and harmonizing within the party, they break away from another party, PFF, but it's dead on arrival. That greatly weakens FDC. Do you blame all those on NRM or just internal weaknesses?
Fueled by?
No.
Okay.
Just internal weaknesses.
Then
you go to NUP. You start the poor people power, very virulent, very belligerent. Yes, they get some reasonable support coming to parliament. But what happens in the 5 years? What would you credit NUP for? Did it mobilize the country to get more support? No. Instead, internal fights. They started with Impuga, a very illustrious leader of opposition. They bring him down. And the other members, Segona and the others. So has that one strengthened the NUP? No, it is now much weaker than how it was. So really, you blame all those on NRM.
Let's take a very...
let me finish. Those are internal weaknesses. So the opposition, even before you think of dialogue with NRM and the government, I think you have a lot of work to do within the parties. Strengthen your parties, have cohesion, address issues of internal democracy and so forth, and then you can think of even engaging with the government.
Well, we'll take a very short break, and when we return, we'll be asking, can dialogue ever suffice in a country with Honorable Barrio Musa and the likes pouring scorn on what the opposition is demanding for? We'll speak about this and much more after the break.
NBS Frontline. In a digital world, not everything is what it seems. False stories today spread faster than truth, leaving us all wondering what's real. Disinformation misleads, misinformation misguides and spreads confusion and fear. Dismiss, a campaign to help you think critically, question wisely, and verify thoroughly. Join us. Let's build a more informed Uganda, one truth at a time. Dismiss, inquire, verify, confirm. Together, let's fight fake news.
Hey, hey, travelers. Are you a family gearing up for that big vacation, a hustler working abroad coming home, or your squad chasing sunsets and passport stamps? It's time you lock in. Say goodbye to long airport queues, shocking roaming bills, and the stress of hunting for local SIM cards, because now you can travel like a local. Stay connected in over 180 countries. Just scan, tap, and boom. Instant data the moment you reach your destination. Get your Rogue Travel eSIM today at travel.roguetelcom.co.ug. Contact us on 020-5000123.
I'm supposed to pray for an Esther. Who's an Esther? Your mom or something?
Esther. Esther is my sister. She's in Dubai.
There's a hardship she's facing about her stay there. Your mom is sad. There's a deep sadness.
Yes.
It is a deep, deep bondage of sadness. It's like depression, actually.
Yes.
It's true, eh? Okay, now let's do something for your home, eh? In the name of Jesus.
Watch The Power of Prophecy with Prophet Elvis Mbonye this Saturday, 6:30 p.m. on NBS TV, Uganda.
Across Uganda, the parish development model is paving the way for prosperity, helping families transform their lives through strategic farming practices, like the 4-acre model.
In our Chibaro of 1996, we said first acre, put coffee. Second acre, fruits. The third acre, you put pasture for dairy cows. The fourth acre, for food, cassava. The good thing is that now cassava is also becoming a very good cash product, but at least for food. Then, mind you, the backyard. You put poultry for eggs, you put piggery.
I'm in a 1-acre plot of land. In this 1 acre, Your Excellency, I practice this banana plantation. I also practice coffee. I also have dairy, Your Excellency. Every month, Your Excellency, I get 500,000 from these bunches.
The 7 activities we recommended, they have a big global demand.
We have 10,000 Nile tilapia fish and 10,000 African catfish. And when we sell our 10,000 tilapia, we get in one harvest 20 million shillings.
Fruits, especially capsule, which is cold, can do very high value crops like apples. And then finally, those who are near the wetlands, like the ones in Bukit who are wasting the wetlands, they should do fish farming, not in the center of the swamp, but at the edge of the swamp.
From coffee farms to fish ponds, the 4-acre model is empowering Ugandans to transform their lives. The parish development model is your pathway to wealth creation. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance.
NBS Frontline.
Welcome back. It's still the Frontline, analyzing the recent meeting between the Nsibambi-led group, the new opposition, right? The new opposition. We gather there is a formation underway.
Oh, the real opposition.
The real. To you, that's the real. Is it true you creating a formation?
we are creating a formation or a platform, I should say, of different stakeholders, the media, academia, elders, political parties, to engage government and President Museveni
Weren't
for a
you
national
sincere?
dialogue.
Because we've gathered you on a special mission to weaken the leading national inter-platform.
You sure?
Yes.
It is impossible because from the onset, I was part of People Power, where we got now NUP as a party. The first 7 meetings, I was actually, I'm not saying in charge, but I participated. Motema, Sebufu, Nyanzi, which led to the coming in of Chagula.
We're addressing women putting on a yellow in town.
So basically, it's not true that we are creating a formation to kill our own baby. But we're now acknowledging the fact that you have an elected government, gazetted and declared for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
How do we move on?
Yeah, why don't you help strengthen the NUP instead of recruiting their members to join a parallel outfit?
First of all, I'm not NUP. I have never looked at their constitution, if they have any.
Yeah, but you're holding late night meetings with members of NUP with a view.
Exactly. With the Ugandans, citizens who are actually have no voice in NUP. And actually, Council MCC here can actually tell that within NUP, for the last 5 years, NUP was leading the opposition. But we've never had a formal meeting of opposition parties to discuss and get a consensus on any issue.
I think there is.
So if you have that divide, yes.
I think there has been. I've seen Besigye at Kavule engaging.
I'm telling you now, Besigye going to NUP, not a formal meeting of political parties, say at Africana or Mistil or within Parliament, to discuss and get formal consensus and harmony over issues. We have different manifestos. FDC has a different manifesto, UPC and DP. So all these so-called opposition parties should sit in one form as opposition.
So do you feel NUP has betrayed the cause?
They have not betrayed the cause, but I think it grew out of excitement and did not get full ideological orientation of the facts for us to give direction. So we are all coming up with different formations and ideas depending on the crisis on the ground. And I'm blaming them for that.
If you had won an election,
yes,
would you still have gone ahead with these?
Yes, because these discussions with the president, with the Interreligious Council, were discussions and conversation before the elections. And I have paperwork here to testify. The memorandum I wrote to State House and the memorandum I wrote to Interreligious Council, one is dated 3rd and the other is dated 5th, before the elections. It's called the letter. The letter coming out of these discussions and minutes is called the pastoral letter to the citizens of Uganda in view of the forthcoming elections. It's 7th January. So it has nothing to do with the election. Though definitely I cannot believe up to now that I lost the elections in Mawokota South. The dynamics are different. But definitely all this was before the elections. However, the zeal to push on with this agenda after elections is also a result of what I saw.
Honorable Mbide, yes. How prepared are you for the Nsibambi wave?
I don't think it is going to be a
Actually, they started it. The DP started.
It is an idea. And I can safely tell you, there is a need for a fresh liberation of all the political outfits in the country, including NRM, by the way. You see, when we are speaking here, Honorable Variomunsi will tell you that for them, NRM is in power, and it is, but that party is not the one in power. It is not true. Even the party called NRM itself is on the opposition. Power itself has been taken over by the persons we call the eminence degrees. Persons without formal employment, formal appointment, wield more power than persons that actually have got prescribed portfolios in the government and in the political party.
You mean Baryomunsi is powerless?
Baryomunsi has got clear directions that he follows in his ministry. In terms of power, of course, for him, he's a bit refractory. I have seen he's very refractory. He's somebody who does not really give in to coercion. But I can tell you that when...
Oh, belligerent.
I think that is most appropriate.
Politically belligerent.
He can withstand any amount of...
He doesn't know where power lies.
Yes. You see, if you refuse to dance, the wind will definitely do it for you. Let me tell you, even that political party called NRM requires a liberation. And this kind of liberation out of a dialogue should be in such a way that we begin from the word go. We begin afresh.
Yeah, but you can't speak of dialogue when the likes of Baryomunsi tell you that there is no crisis.
We have
that moment of Mahmoudani shaking hands with Trump, Raila shaking hands with Ruto cannot suffice.
Simon, we have got that type of people even on the opposition. Persons that will want to praise the issues as they are. Even on the opposition, we have got our own parrots and popinjays. They don't even want you to call their own candidates, not president. For example, in NUP, if there is a gathering and you don't call Honorable Chagulanyi president, sometimes you may not actually succeed in giving a speech.
Isn't he the party president?
No, a president of Uganda. This is completely nothing to do with the party. They really believe he's supposed to be called the president of Uganda. So,
the deputy president.
Huh?
Someone described me as a deputy president.
Of DP. But I can tell you, what I'm trying to describe, what I'm trying to describe is that there is a praise and worship choir on every side of the coin. Now, these are not the people that should be actually the proponents of the dialogue itself. We must dialogue in such a way that we establish a level playing field.
What is the crisis?
So the crisis is, it is impossible to talk of a democracy in a situation as it is in Uganda. There must be a renaissance of some sort, a recapitulation. There must be something that we must think about, that we are not going the way we must. We have got a system of government and a system of the eminence degrees, all have been choreographed in such a way that you cannot tell me that that kind of system is versus opposition. It is not true. These are prebendalists helping themselves to resources to keep themselves in power. Now they have abandoned even the financial resources. They have now actually utilized the institutional and power resources now, to the extent then that even all of those whose results have actually been gazetted are still quiet for fear that even the gazettes can be recollected. I can tell you, Uganda, that is where we have reached. And these are not things that are known to the president. These are things that can be taken to him through processes of this nature as we adopt a dialogue that is actually informative.
Okay.
The president is not aware.
Would you be persuaded to join Sibambi's formation?
We are already there. It is actually Honorable Sibambi joining us.
No. Sibambi is leading a new front.
What we are waiting for.
That breathes freshness in the opposition.
Which is good. What we are waiting for are the clear, what are they espousing? The clear proposals that also will accompany our 4 major proposals that include the transition, by the way. You remember that the president signed our document, which is a cooperation agreement, which included the transition. When the media asked him about the transition, he said, we never agreed, which is true, because you signed. And the dialogue for purposes of transition has not been actuated. So, but people thought that he's denying that we did not talk about transition is there, and that must be addressed.
Is Sibambi the new desirable alternative to the current opposition?
Is part of the contingent alternatives that we think should push Uganda to a next
No, where
phase.
we are now is leading.
Because what you are trying to do is to establish a method of pontification that puts him against our own political leaders.
Ordinarily, that is where we are. There is a bloc led by Nsibambi
Yes.
That is a big threat to the existential parties.
You know, we were isolated. We were isolated as the Democratic Party in our view that we should really hold the talks. We are happy when other political leaders also come up. Our role as the Democratic Party that actually did it first is to also now begin to give pieces of advice, ex cathedra, with the amount of knowledge that we have been there. Please, the correct path is that one, but the methods are these, and these are the hurdles that we shall have to jump.
Isn't it quite ironical that an institution like DP failed, but in Sibambi is already making successes? He's making inroads.
No, I don't think we failed. Honorable Sibambi has equally not failed. None of us has succeeded. We are, because we would have succeeded if we have addressed, for example, the idea, and we have established an overhaul, a complete overhaul of the laws of Uganda, to the extent then that we can address all the wrongs that are being actuated.
Thank you. Honorable Musisi, how would you contend with Honorable Sibambi's new bloc?
I don't think it's a block.
It is.
You know, Simon, your diction needs to be checked. But before I go to that, Dr. Williams said that there are no such a thing as political prisoners. World over, and these lawyers will tell you, it's not the government which declares political prisoners. Political prisoner is not a term which is given by government. So as spokesperson of government, I don't expect him to say we have political prisoners. Even Mandela, the leading political prisoner in this world, was called a terrorist.
lawbreaker.
He was called a terrorist. So political prisoners is about the circumstances, not a declaration that comes from government. How do we contend with? I think what Honorable Sibambi has, and that's where it started from, is an idea. And by his own admission, he says it's at the infancy. Some of us who are pessimists are saying we've seen that before. What the task that Honorable Sibambi has is to lead that idea into not just fruits of saying, I led to the release of this. I think for me, I would call that a meeting. But if you're talking about a dialogue, a national dialogue, like I've heard in his words, a national dialogue portends so many issues. And do we need a dialogue in this country? Yes, we do. Yes, we do, on so many issues. One of the lead, for instance, instead of looking at the issue of political prisoners, I would look at the issue of weaponization of the criminal justice system. That is the bigger issue. Yeah, and that is where I would define success.
I think what you're saying is different from what the party believes in. The party
appears
quite ambivalent.
Which party?
The National Interparty.
I think I know it better than you said. Everything about it better than you.
I'll refer you to the letter Noop wrote in 2021.
Yes.
When you were rejecting.
Letter to who?
To IPOD. When you were rejecting the IPOD arrangement.
So how does
and calling it all manner of
refer
names.
to the issue of the political prisoners?
So that suggests that you are not for dialogue.
That's a matter of comprehension, Simon. And
no, it's not comprehension.
No, a matter of comprehension, because
there is a record.
We are vice chairpersons of National Consultative Forum.
No,
Simon.
you're not in
Isn't that a dialogue forum?
You're not in IPOD, are you?
Well, National Consultative Forum is a statutory forum. And we're the vice chairpersons for the last 5 years.
Until recently, when you wrote applying, you made a U-turn.
Simon,
you made a U-turn and applied to join IPOD.
You have a right to cherry pick what you want, but you don't change the facts. Facts are that NCF is a statutory forum. Facts are that Noop, for all the 5 years you're talking about, has been the vice chairpersons, and facts are that we've not missed a meeting. But you make me miss my point, Simon.
No, this is very important. I think you're being dishonest
but
in
you
saying
asked a question.
Noop is for dialogue. Honorable Sibambi, do you believe that Noop believes in dialogue?
So you
considering the letter they wrote in 2021.
This evening, if you revisit the address by the leader of opposition, he said for them they cannot even think of dialoguing with a person who incarcerated innocent prisoners. On that particular point, it's clear that Noop is calling for an agenda. Actually, they said unless you change the government into power, there's nothing to dialogue, which is actually childish because you have a government gazetted and to be sworn in, and your members are going to swear in under that government. But you
Honorable
don't want
Mr.
to-
Are you contradicting your
Yes, I am.
party spokesperson?
Well,
Your party spokesperson.
What Honorable Sivambi is not my party spokesperson. He has paraphrased. You know what paraphrasing
What
means?
did he say exactly?
He has repeated
Okay, what did
in
he
his own
say?
understanding. Let
What did he
let
say?
me first answer what you first asked.
No, no,
then
no.
I'll answer.
What did Senyonyi?
About
yes
yesterday at outside Luzira prisons.
Yes,
if that's the question he's talking about.
Exactly.
He said the people inside there have told us they don't want us politicians who use them. In fact, they even referred to and I don't know whether they're referring to Honorable, so I'm saying that people who have never even seen them or visited them to use them for political gains. I don't know whether that is what he's paraphrasing. I didn't hear what Honorable Swamp is quoting, saying we don't want to dialogue. If anything, if you understand the meaning of the word dialogue, or unless you have a limited understanding of the word, I've said dialogue means talking, principally. And I've said anyone who said NOP is anti-dialogue is being mischievous, because I've said there is a structure called National Consultative Forum. Have you heard of it, Simon?
Yes, sir.
NOP is the vice chairperson.
For the past 4 years or 5 years, what activity have you engaged in to do that forum as NOP?
Well, there are meetings. NOP is the vice chairperson.
Meetings.
And it has not missed a meeting, like one you attended in State House. Of course, some of them don't have pictures. The point is, the duty, and Honorable Mbide earlier said that when DP was starting something akin to this, they wrote what they wanted. He referred to some of the wish lists they had, which included having constitutional amendments. I would have loved to know what has stopped it 4 years down the road. Why haven't had? Because I remember the issue of the constitutional amendment or constitutional review was one of the key things. What has stopped it? What has stopped the issues of transition taking place? So what I said earlier, that the rhetoric that we've had it before. What we want to see is being taken beyond the rhetoric, and the task and the onus is on this group. As it is now, it's just, I wouldn't call it a block, it's just a group of individuals. Just yesterday.
Who are these individuals? Do you want to describe them as liberators, traitors?
No, I wouldn't call
You
that.
saw Honorable Latif Sebagalamang.
Of course, I have a fertile understanding of the language. I don't choose any of the two. I've chosen to call them individuals. I don't want to call them those words.
Villains? Who are they?
They're individuals. If you want to characterize them, that you'll have that option, Simon. The point is, even in Honorable Sivambi's party, I had some other individuals disowning him, actually calling for his being subjected to disciplinary action. I don't know whether that is also bedigerance and so on and so forth. The point is, what is different as we speak now? What is different from what we've had before? That will be the question. And as it is, like I've said, I've not seen it. And I would be glad, pleasantly glad, for Honorable Sivambi's group to prove me
Just
wrong.
a second, Honorable Bariumusi.
Yes.
When Mao initiated dialogue with government, with the cooperation agreement, he landed a juicy ministry. Could Nsivambi be one of the people you're looking at to be rewarded
As the
handsomely?
A spokesperson should actually say it.
Actually, he should get you. He
So
might
that,
get you a job. Of
my
national-
mother prepares the goat for you.
Honorable Sivambi will be the next Minister of National Guidance.
No, but I don't think you should take that whoever engages the president is looking for employment.
No, give me any precedent of anyone who has engaged the president and then remained strong in the opposition.
Well, it depends on the issues he's raising with the president. I want to believe that the Honorable Sivambi had specific issues, like he's saying, those who are in the prison and so
Like
forth.
Mao did, like Joyce Sebugwawo did, like several others.
No, I think Honorable Mao had there's an agreement signed between the DP and the NRM. And I think the two agreed on a number of issues. Whereas for Honorable Sibambi, he has started an initiative of engaging the president on a number of issues. And I want to believe he's doing it in good faith, and we should support him. And any other person, any other Ugandan who would want to engage the president or the establishment should be free.
Is it issue-based or political mischief?
No, he has issues he's raising. But let me say again that there is no crisis in Uganda to warrant a dialogue. Like, if we don't dialogue, things are going to collapse. I think you just have fertile imaginations, what I would call phantasmagoria, if I can borrow.
Or chimera.
I can borrow these words. And like I have said before, if anybody is interested in engaging in a dialogue or discussion, that's okay.
Do you envisage a moment where Uganda, there are quite a number of very interesting pictures I've seen.
Yes.
The Ruto-Raila moment, that golden handshake, where Bobi Wine will shake hands with President Museveni. Do you see that ever happening here?
In the current circumstances, a man who, after elections, goes into hiding, I don't think Bobi Wine would be willing. But if Bobi Wine came out and wanted to meet the president, I'm sure President Museveni would be very happy and willing to shake hands with him. But given the nature of our politics, Bobi Wine would not do it. A person like Besigye would not do it because they have that extremist stance in our politics, which is not good, which is not healthy for our politics. And I'm saying they should tone it down and be able to meet and engage the president and any other person. If we can meet in parliament as members of parliament and engage on national issues, why wouldn't you, as heads of political parties, also meet? And I want to pose a question to the opposition. If you are saying...
Okay, would it necessarily be happening in Entebbe?
Anywhere.
In State House?
It can be anywhere. State House is a national house for all of us.
Are you eager to see President Museveni shaking hands with Robert Kyagulanyi?
I have no problem with it. And any other political actor. It would be good for this country.
What would it mean?
It would be good for this country.
Okay, what would it, how significant would it be?
Well, it would be good for this country that
so
the
that
president can freely and comfortably engage with the opposition. But you know that the problem in this country is not President Museveni, it is Kyagulanyi and the opposition who fear to reach the president. You can see how they are now blackmailing Honorable Sibambi simply because he met the president. What would be wrong with the leader of opposition, say Honorable Kyagulanyi, going and meeting the president in the State House? What would be wrong? But he fears because you have...
I'd love to roll out, my producer would roll out some of the pictures of the historic moments where leaders, hitherto rivals, are shaking hands.
And I'm going to ask, you are saying there is a crisis and so forth. So in the opposition, you're going to boycott parliament and district councils. If you are saying there is a crisis, there must be dialogue, things can't move unless, are you going to boycott the governance structures where you've been elected to perform your duties?
Mr. Museveni went to the bush, there was parliament.
Yeah?
See that moment?
There was parliament and there was an opposition in parliament.
See those moments. Can Uganda ever attain such a moment? Is it possible? Honorable Mbide.
I am going to restrict my answer to generally the shaking of hands between Raila and Ruto. And then obviously we can also begin to think of Raila and Uhuru. You see, when those two are shaking hands, those are two leaders of free parties. They are two leaders of free politics in the country. They are leaders shaking hands because what was left is for them to unite their people. But the people were united and the people were actually belonging in their own parties. What we have in Uganda requires certain stages. Today, if Chagulan just went and started shaking hands with President Museveni, I think it wouldn't make sense. There are stages that we need to go through.
Zimbabwe has started.
Yes, and these are the best stages we can look at. Because, for example, these are not going to be shaking hands. Those are not hands between equals. There could be hands where actually one is in prison and the other one is outside, but shaking hands from a window or a ventilator. For me, that one wouldn't make political sense. So they must be free persons, free people, with opinions that can both be used to run a government. Not within the context of free politics. He's free in terms of a Ugandan.
No, he's not free. He's not at home.
That one, for me, I do not have information to the extent that is not at home, not by choice. That one I do not have. Oh, it is being protected. But you see, even the president is surrounded by the army and the military.
Do you have meat at your home?
No.
Yes, I have.
The other one is
You've called them.
Honorable Musisi.
To protect you.
Let me explain this thing, because you see, I have seen it flying all over. There is a price of being a big person. You must be protected. The president, wherever he goes,
with that garrison,
it does not matter. You must be protected, because there are opportunistic elements anywhere and everywhere that can injure you at the cost of the state. No, so I think.
So you want to call that protection?
You're a lawyer.
For me, until I find a court order for
saying that his home is not a prison, it's not a gazetted place of confinement. In fact, in 2020, we took a court order to send people away from his home.
Yes, but I don't know whether it has now been violated as a court order. Because you see, protection, there cannot be any court order that is issued against protection. Because protection is a constitutional matter.
People would even go and burn the house. And
he has been there with people before.
Is Chagulanyi a missing person?
No, he's not a missing person. Missing person is
a hiding person.
Yeah. So I think the country needs to be serious on this matter. And for me, I take exception to beginning to explain the conduct of one person whose material reason is for a decision to leave the country or to be in the country, not at home, is unknown to any. If the party comes out and gives us material knowledge and information on the particulars of where he is and why, I would discuss it here. But I am unaware. So in my opinion, Simon, there is a freedom that must be a precursor to shaking hands between leaders.
Honorable Nsibambi, is the country on the road to a Raila Ruto moment?
I don't think so. Viewers, we are in a multi-party dispensation. And this has given a feeling of leaders in this country, specifically political leaders, to believe that this country belongs to political parties. And that is wrong. The formation of parties here are basically sectarian. They are underfunded, so we don't have institutions to lead this kind of agenda. But ordinary Ugandans and citizens at large, you have a duty and a responsibility to handle the politics of this country, whether you belong to a specific party or formation or not. So the initiative we are undertaking is not exactly to do with the parties. It's an appreciation of the fact that parties have failed. Just look at the leadership, with all due respect. I'm not talking about Musisi here. Most of the leaders, specifically in Central here, in my opinion, maybe they are not the best representation or reflection of the minds and will of the people. Now what do we have to do? So we are taking on this initiative to call upon all these other stakeholders, the fourth estate.
I thought it would climax into such a moment where you would see two rivals who've been through a very fierce contest, shaking hands.
It will happen, but they will be forced with the wave, with ongoing discussions and debate, where the leaders believe or get to believe that they are not a cult. They don't own. You see, all the parties, if you talk about FDC, they say, Mugisha Muntu, Besige. period. Then when you go to NUP, Gumenyeke, and then, so we're really having this kind of confusion.
What is Gumenyeke?
Gumenyeke is the movement. If you step at Magere without moving in style, then you are not a leader. So basically, you are not a gumit, as he said. so I think we should have to reflect and say, this kind of leadership, the leadership we want to handle the national question. So basically, we are coming out to say, no, we cannot let this happen because this country belongs to all of us.
So what you're doing is a vote of no confidence in NUP.
No, not in NUP.
You're not looking at them as the viable alternative for the country.
No. I've been part of the shadow cabinet.
Let me also add. Let us juxtapose what he's doing with what the others believe in doing. Those that believe they defeat Museveni in an election, we are here. They can give us an account. Those that believe we can dialogue and have a framework capable of introducing a democracy and freedoms, we are here.
Can you give us an account of the cooperation framework?
No.
How far you've gone?
How many years?
No, for me, I can give
4 years. For how many years have we had elections?
I can give an
since 1995, 20.
I can give an account on
Yes.
behalf.
Yes.
Reforms, constitutional reforms, and at the business committee, on several occasions, we failed to get a slot to have that discussed.
I want us to cross to Afromobile now as the conversation continues for the remaining minutes. Honorable Musisi, do you see Uganda hands and seal a deal towards structured peace and maybe resolving the sticky issues?
Well, for me, I just have to look at the antecedents of General Museveni and his antecedents towards forums like that. Because the NUP president, whom you are very interested in, Simon, has been president of the opposition party for about 6 or 7 years. There have been such initiatives prior for over 20 years before. That's why I said that, of course, I recognize that any person can meet a pole to soul or soul to pole moment like Honorable Swami met, because Honorable Swami has been part of the opposition, the leading opposition party, for 20 years. So, what has failed in the past? Has it been? It wasn't Chagula. When these issues came up in 2016, because there was talk. In 2016, there was talk of saying Dr. Besigye should meet. Dr. Besigye said the same thing. In 2011, that is also documented in Karinaki's book. 2011, even embassies came and told Dr. Besigye, please come and talk. He said it should be principled, because if you've seen how General Museveni has acted towards all people who have always thought that they are dialoguing, you'd be a mad person, because one time someone said, I think it was the late Honorable Mao in Parliament during the UCB debate, he said that I think it's only a mad person who does the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So I don't see it. But I don't see it because of the antecedents of General Museveni.
You have your reservations.
Yes, I'm a pessimist
and
I have reasons to do so. And like I said, I would be pleasantly surprised.
Why don't you initiate a process as the national inter-platform towards national dialogue for national healing?
Well, national dialogue, where they have worked always, they're initiated by people in government. Because when you're in government, you have the coercive force. A person whose boot is on your face and you're down, you cannot ask for dialogue. There's that very famous phrase that we should never fear to negotiate, but we should never negotiate out of fear. The point is, actually, I don't know why, before even Honorable Swami quotes what the leader of opposition said or didn't say, I was at a press conference at Kavule sometime last year, and the party president of NUP made it clear that we wouldn't mind talking. These are our demands. It was covered by NBS. So a national dialogue is ordinarily where they have worked before. Because whereas Dr. Williams calls us belligerent, what is happening? Actually, no, the belligerent ones are victims of the oppression. They are the ones who are in prison, they're the ones who are shot, they're the ones who are missing. That's not a definition of belligerence. How do you define? Because they tend to call NUP extremists. But the extremists are the victims. They're the victims. So for me, I wouldn't look at the issue of whether it's a NUP thing. Because in any case, if it's a national dialogue, it should even transcend the NUP. It's not a NUP, it shouldn't be a NUP issue. It's a national issue.
What do you want us to dialogue on?
Of course,
what are the issues?
For instance, the breakdown of the rule of law. Don't you find that there's a total breakdown of the rule of law? The weaponization of the criminal justice system? That right now, even a person like the Dr. Besiji can fail to get bail 4 times. You get? Not on legal grounds, but on an opinion, because he ticked all the boxes. So I'm just giving examples. So the point is, whether NUP decides this or otherwise, then any national dialogue should, and where they have succeeded in the past, should have all actors across the board. Of course, there is even one thing which is lacking in Uganda today, which is as a result of what we are, our poor democracy. There is almost a non-existent civil society. There's almost a non-existent civil society. Professional bodies are in fear. The media is under censorship. So they are all reasons.
In a minute, before I get to Honorable Bariomusi, Honorable Bide, you had something to say.
Yeah. Maybe I need to take my brother through. I have had a fair knowledge of practically politics of the world. Dialogue can be commenced by either entity. It is very unlikely most times that governments commence dialogue, except if they are faced with conditions that make it a logical necessity for them to do so. For example, if those that are being led have established a state of ungovernability, they can call for dialogue. In Uganda, we don't have that kind of state. We have had dialogues established by those from the bush. We have had the Arusha agreements. We have had dialogue in Ghana after General Rawlings. We have had dialogues, and the dialogue works. We have now 2 types of Ugandans. They are all believers in President Museveni. There are those who believe in him, that we can dialogue with him for a better future. And there are those that believe in him, that he can organize elections and they win it. They are all believers in President Museveni. And I don't want the population to be taken for a ride.
Who are the second?
The believers that the President of the Republic of Uganda, President Museveni, can organize an election and they win it. Now that is the NUP. Dr. Besige also was such a believer for almost 4 times. He never believed in dialogue, and he believed he would win an election, until obviously it has now come to pass. They can also believe as such, and 4 times they will discover it cannot be done. We have only started believing that we need dialogue to change the state of affairs.
As I get to Honorable Bariomusi, has the reality dawned on you that you cannot dislodge Museveni by the ballot? The best you can do for the continuity of the country is to dialogue.
So the other question would be, then how far those people are believing in dialogue, how far have they gone in dislodging him from power?
3 years. We are still talking.
How far have they gone? That's the question.
Okay. Do you still believe in elections?
Well, we believe in free and fair elections, as our laws envisage. What we had were not elections. It was something way below that. In fact, even his party president said...
How did you win? Did you win irregularly?
Yes, I won through in a bad election. It was a shambolic election. My winning doesn't cleanse it. Even you had military deployed all over your constituents. His own party president said the same. Your own party president said he was cheated by NRM.
Our laws actually cannot deliver a free and fair election.
Well,
it requires dialogue for us to amend.
As we talk dialogue, you don't seem to see any issues that would warrant a national dialogue.
Well, the issues like he's outlining, we have different platforms where those issues can be interrogated.
I think you're being disingenuous.
No, one, parliament. We have parliament which has the government, the opposition, independence, where we have IPOD. IPOD has different structures. Even they had a summit of presidents of parties. It has a secretary general. It has all those parties represented in the parliament that can engage on those issues. We have the National Consultative Forum, chaired by NRM, deputized by NUP, where these issues can be addressed.
So what Nsibambi is pursuing is futile?
No, you can still pursue it at that level, but I am saying there are different governance platforms that bring together all these political actors, where these issues can be debated.
In your understanding,
if you think you will use dialogue for NRM to concede the power and say, okay, NUP take over, that will not happen.
In your understanding,
if NUP wants to lead this country, it must market itself to Ugandans, and Ugandans vote for NUP. But for you saying...
In a free and fair election.
Yes, a free and fair election like we have always had. But if you think you will come and say, NRM, you leave power...
I'm coming to you, I'm coming to you.
That will not happen.
Honorable Mariumuse.
Yes.
In your opinion, what is Nsibambi pursuing? What do you know?
Well, Honorable Nsibambi, with a team of his colleagues, are engaging the president and the government on a number of issues. Like he's saying, there are people who are arrested, and he believes there can be a negotiation and maybe any other issues. I have no problem with him engaging the president and engaging the powers that be.
Do you see clarity in what he's pursuing?
No. He has not told us the issues they discussed, apart from the issues of those in the prison. He has heard the other issues himself.
I want to wind up with you.
Thank you very much. Viewers, the impression I'm getting from the government spokesperson, Dr. Mariumase, is that Uganda belongs to politicians. He's talking of organs, institutions, which are actually political. IPOD, all the fora he's talking about is actually talking about politicians taking charge of governance and control of this country.
Like you are?
No. We went as politicians and other stakeholders. So we are looking at the media.
And you were meeting a politician? You were meeting a politician?
Yeah, because he's the one in charge.
You can't run away from being a politician.
I know I'm a politician myself.
You are not an NGO.
But there are other people who are not actual active politicians or activists. We engage the Interreligious Council. It's not so much political, it's actually non-partisan. We are calling upon the media to get involved, the academia, elders. So at this stage, the dialogue we're talking about, we're looking at a broad range of stakeholders to consider the national question.
You have not
the national question.
The issues.
The national, that will have to come from that bigger forum. See,
so you don't know the national question?
The national question is known. But it can only be built. The national question involves things of governance of this country, which involve constitutional reforms.
But you almost says there is parliament.
To do what now?
Are you discounting parliament?
No, the constitutional reform even goes to a referendum outside parliament. Some of the matters which are entrenched, you have to go to the referendum. Then you look at militarization, commercialization of politics. You look at development issues, sharing of the national cake, sectarian issues. So all that really is releasing of political prisoners is just a small thing.
Well, gentlemen, I'm afraid we need to sign out of here. I want to thank you very much, Honorable Nsibambi. Honorable Mbide, it's a pleasure having you. Honorable Musisi, MP-elect Kira Municipality.
You should invite us for the Thanksgiving. Yes. I understand he's organizing Thanksgiving.
Do you believe that Parliament is a good platform for the struggle?
Of course, yes. It's one of our institutions and our laws.
Yeah, but the past 5 years, has NUP really pushed towards the struggle?
Yes, it has.
In Parliament?
Yes, it has. And some challenges. And of course, because some people have failed or have had challenges, doesn't mean that as an institution, it shouldn't be wrong. Because even Parliament itself has other challenges beyond the NUP.
Honorable Bide, do you believe that NUP has used Parliament as a front for the struggle or self-enrichment?
I don't believe in either.
Simon is giving you an answer.
They can
what he wants you to answer.
The kind of parliament that we have, by the way, cannot deliver. In fact, the role for delivery of a better Uganda now lies outside parliament. And now the current one that has been formed, except for a few like Honorable Msisi, voters themselves have now flocked parliament. They have gone themselves. Most of the MPs never won. So we don't expect much from the current parliament, the way it is going to be constituted.
At the risk of sounding like you're envious because you lost.
No, incidentally, personally, I never lost a seat. I only participated in an election that I never won.
Honorable Marion, what a pleasure.
Winning was postponed.